Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Mostly dead is slightly alive.
On June 27, 2018, the DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee passed a motion to eliminate superdelegates as we know them. This will be presented along with other good reforms to the full DNC for approval on August the 25th, 2018 in Chicago. Here is my understanding of what the proposal says. There will be two types of delegates, pledged delegates and automatic delegates. Pledged delegates will be selected through their state or territory process and in proportion to the outcome of their primary or caucus, and certified by the DNC secretary before the convention. Automatic delegates are all DNC members and Democratic members of Congress, governors, current president and vice president if they are Democrats, and former presidents and vice presidents, Senate majority and minority leaders, former House majority and minority speakers, and former DNC chairs. Automatic delegates cannot vote on the first ballot unless the candidate enters the DNC convention with a very clear win, and even if all of them voted for the candidate, it would not change the outcome. In that instance, they could vote on the first ballot, but they cannot affect the outcome of the first ballot. Okay, let's pretend that there are 1,000 total pledged delegates. These are the pledged delegates from the state and territory primary and caucuses. A candidate would need 50% plus 1. 50% of 1,000 is 500 plus 1 is 501. A candidate gets to 501, they win, period. Okay, now let's look at one of the scenarios when an automatic delegate might be able to vote. What the actual motion says that passed is on the first ballot of the presidential roll call, only pledged delegates will be permitted to vote unless the presidential candidate has secured enough pledged delegates to receive the nomination under any circumstances. So in our example of 1,000 pledged delegates, let's say we have 200 automatic delegates. The total of that pool is 1,200. 50% of 1,200 is 600 plus 1 is 601. So if a candidate has 501, which they've already won, to 600, the automatic delegates do not vote. However, if the candidate has more than 601 in this example, or more, the automatic delegates can vote on the first ballot, but they can't change the outcome. Now, in the event that there are 3 or more candidates that come into the convention and there is no clear winner, it is my understanding that the pledged delegates will vote on the first ballot. If there is not a clear winner after the first ballot, it will move to a second ballot, and at that point, the automatic delegates will get to vote. Using our example of having 1,000 pledged delegates and 200 automatic delegates, now our pool is 1,200. Half of that is 600. So if it goes to a second ballot, then we would need, in this example, 50% plus 1, which would be 601. All of the delegates, both pledged and automatic, would be able to participate equally in other party matters at the convention, such as platform, resolutions, rules, credentials, and other voting matters. This is Elaine Kmark. Elaine has been a DNC member for a long time. She was on the Hunt Commission back in 1981. That's the commission that created Superdelegates. She was a senior staffer for Bill Clinton. She is, I think, what most people would consider the epitome of a Democratic Party insider. I met her in August of 2017 at the first Unity Reform Commission meeting that I attended. And at that time, she was supportive of superdelegates, and she advocated for keeping them. And then she went from that to supporting reducing superdelegates by the time they got to the final report at the Unity Reform Commission. And now she made the motion of basically eliminating superdelegates completely. And why would she do that? Why would she go from creating them to supporting them wholeheartedly to eliminating? And the reason is that it's a strategy to create unity. We have to figure out how to work together, the moderates and the progressives. And so they know that when I say they, the people who are making these decisions, the people on this Rules and Bylaws Committee, they know that the grassroots Democrats hate the superdelegates, that they view them as incredibly unfair. And if they want to win in November, if they want to win in 2020, they have to figure out how to listen to the grassroots, basically. So Ms. Kmark she made this motion to basically eliminate, for all intents and purposes, it's eliminating superdelegates. She is wicked smart, and I have no doubt that she has some kind of plan to reintroduce superdelegates or something else at a later time when we're not paying attention. So we have to pay attention. But for now, this recommendation is far more than I could ever imagine, could ever hope that we would have, especially considering that Perez kicked all the Bernie people off of the Rules and Bylaws Committee last fall. Every person that supported this is a Perez pick. And so anyway, I'm going to let you listen to her defense or speaking in support of this motion that she made and why she made it, as well as her closing statement at the last meeting of the Unity Reform Commission. If any DNC member wants a reason to vote for this recommendation, I think that Elaine is the perfect non-Bernie person to have a perspective that I believe that they could connect with.
I rise in support of this motion because it is in the nature of a compromise to a deeply felt debate within this party. What the motion does is prevent the worst case scenario, which caused a lot of people, particularly young people who were new to the process, to be quite distrustful and believe that there were people out there that could undo the will of the electorate. Under this proposal, that could not happen. A clear winner of the presidential nomination among the pledged delegates would not be able to be overturned by the automatic delegates. On the other hand, what this proposal does is it makes sure that the party leadership, the members of Congress who have to work with an elected president, the members of the DNC who support not just the presidential candidate, but all Democrats up and down the line, have a say in the important party business that goes on at the convention, meaning rules, convention credentials, and, of course, the platform. And so while I am in great sympathy with Don's point of view and, in fact, began this process where Don is hoping to stay with the original proposal, I've come to believe that this is the best thing for our party to do right now, given the atmosphere we face, given the number of new young people that are coming into our party, and frankly, given the crisis we face in our democracy, where we must elect a Democratic Congress to check this autocratic, authoritarian President of the United States.
I'd like to echo the thoughts of my fellow commissioners and thank you for the cooperation and the good faith that you've shown here. I didn't get everything I wanted. I would have liked to see no reduction in superdelegates. Okay, just to point that out. Okay, so I didn't get everything I wanted, but I will go forward and support the work of this commission in the Rules Committee and forward. But I just want to make a point. I think we have a great progressive platform. We can't get anything done on that great progressive platform unless we take back the House in 2018. And I think everybody here has to understand that we've worked in a spirit of unity because we are facing a really big deal. We are facing the most dangerous American president we have ever had. And in order to check that president, we need a Democratic House of Representatives, if not also a Democratic Senate. So I am hoping that the compromises we have all made here will continue into the fall, and that we can be together to elect a Democratic House, at least, maybe a Democratic Senate, because we must check this president.
So I really support this reform. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's really good, and it gives us a really big foot in the door. Please contact your DNC members and ask them to support this superdelegate reform. You can call or email them, send them this video if you think that it'll help. The vote will be in Chicago on August 25th, and it's important that we contact our DNC members and respectfully ask them to support this reform and the other reforms that are recommended. Thank you for watching. My name is Selina Vickers, and I blog about this stuff at selinavickers.com. My email is teamvickers.wv@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from you and hear how you're using this information to make the world a better place.